Hello and welcome back to an architecture tour of Morrowind. I am Simon and we are going to Mournhold.
What can I help you with?
Transport to Mournhold. Yes, please. It's part of a quest going to Mournhold. Oh, it's part of a pit. It's part of a quest in the expansion called Tribunal.
It wants something. What does it ask?
So in Mournhold, yes, this is an expansion of the game, and it's a new city. It's a very big city. It's got the city itself, and then it's got some caverns underneath and all that. Let's see, this is the royal palace of Mournhold, and the king is not here, but this is the throne room of the king of Morrowind.
The king's health to you, sir.
Yeah, the king. Now, like the Duke of Vvardenfall, the king is supposedly appointed by the Empire. Baronzia's chambers. This is the king's mother, Baronzia. I think that's how you pronounce her name. So that's her. She's got a
Should be recognized, my good lady.
unique hairstyle. So
Where are you from?
the guards wear armor looking like that. Let's go outside. We don't need to be in here.
Yes?
Can we get out of the way? Good.
Happy to help. What's your problem?
Courtyard. Now the palace is in the middle of the city. The architectural style is different from everything we've seen so far, although there's some similarities with
Good for the Empire, good for all.
Vivek, it seems. You know, these arches and
Oh,
bits.
it's
The
you.
windows are a bit different.
Can I help you?
The main door is a bit different, but vaguely like Vivek, but different. What's this way? Temple Courtyard. So, Mournhold is also called Almalexia. We're gonna avoid that guy, because he's part of a quest again. So this is the Temple of Almalexia. If you were paying attention to the other videos, Almalexia is one of the three demigods of Morrowind, the other ones being Vivek and Sotha Sil.
I clean this temple, sir.
Almalexia knows and sees.
She-
Almalexia be praised, sir.
So we haven't done the quest yet, so we can't actually go in there and talk to her. Once again, we see these arches which are somewhat similar to Vivek, but obviously the color is green instead of brown, and the shape seems to be
If a few would
taller than the city of Vivek. But the style is, yeah, it is somewhat similar to Vivek, and certainly it's closer to the Vivek city than the Imperial architecture, for example. So we can't see Almalexia herself, and I guess the rest of this is not too interesting.
health and healing.
So once again, there's this strange power structure, right? There's the King of Morrowind, who is appointed by the Empire, and then there's Almalexia, who I guess she appointed herself, along with the other two. So again, like, you don't know who's in charge, really. Almalexia or the king? But anyway, I guess one thing I do want to point out about Mournhold is that it's significantly less realistic than all of the other settlements in the main game. Like you have this, I don't know what the purpose of that is, and it's surrounded by huge walls. Mostly to stop you from flying out. Oh, that's right, levitation doesn't work in here neither, so if you try to levitate, levitate magic does not work here, so you can't fly. Anyway, so this is the temple courtyard. It's just this huge empty space with, I guess that's her palace. And you know, you gotta wonder why so much space is just wasted. Anyway, so that's the palace. This is God's Reach, as it's called. It's the
Welcome to Mournhold.
it's mostly residential. I guess this is the rich part of town. Let's see, what's this? That's the museum? No, it's a craftsman's hall. That's the Winged Guard. That's a tavern. Museum of Artifacts. That's the museum there. And these should be just manors, just houses. Yep, house. Manor. Manor. So yeah, so these are the houses of Mournhold. I think there are more people in Mournhold than houses, which is somewhat strange. But I guess, you know, you just can't make the whole city make sense. Or rather you can, but they didn't. So that's God's Reach. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the parts of the city are arranged in a circle around the palace, which is, if you've played Oblivion, it's very much like the Imperial City in Oblivion. And you can see the shape of it here. You can see that's the outside circle, that's the inside bit, and then it's like a piece of pizza or something. It's like 4 quarters. So in this square there's both the Imperial Guards and the Temple Guards patrolling the same space. It's strange. That's a statue of Almalexia, and she's killing a Daedra. I forgot which Daedra. Let's see. Mehrunes Dagon is the Daedra that Almalexia is stabbing in the gut. Awesome. Where are we going? This door would lead to the outside, except that you can't go outside. The gates cannot be opened. So once again, there's this huge open space that doesn't really serve any purpose. I mean, there's a nice statue, but it's very extravagant. And the city itself doesn't have that many people. Now the last quarter is the Great Bazaar, and these are where all the shops are. Oh, this is where all the shops are. The common tongue. Oh, there's yeah, it's all part of a quest. So he's got a shop there. There's a bit of a performance going on here. More shops. Oops. And more shops. So, and that's Mournhold. That's basically the city of Mournhold. There's, as I said earlier, there's a lot of tunnels underneath as well, the dungeons and whatnot, but since we're not doing the quest, we can't actually go down there yet. And they're not too interesting really, so I mean, they're just caves really. I mean, I don't know. I mean, from an architectural point of view, I'm not very impressed by Mournhold at all. I mean, so far in the game, in the main game, I mean, every town, every city it's got its own culture, and the layout of the towns reflect the culture and reflects the story that it's trying to tell. You know, it all makes sense. Whereas Mournhold, it doesn't really make any sense at all. You have huge open areas that serve no purpose, and then you have one residential district and one market district. And you know, why is there a bridge in the middle? Why is that shaped like that? And you know, the theater or the stage is not, you know, why is it in the middle? Why is it not maybe at one end and facing the other way to maximize the visibility, to have, you know, to maximize the audience that can see it? And here on this side, why are these two buildings put on either side, and why are the shops like that? You know, there's no reason for any of this, and I don't know the answers to any of these questions because I suspect there are no answers. They're just like this because whoever designed this didn't think that far. I mean, that sounds... I don't really want to be saying that. I mean, obviously, some people worked fairly hard to make all of this stuff. I don't want to sound like the guy doesn't know what he's doing, but you know, the relationship between the palace and the temple, you know, the two competing power structures. I mean, the palace is in the middle, and this is off to the side. What does that mean? Is Almalexia being sidelined? But you know, this is Almalexia's own city. The city is much older than the king of Morrowind. You know, the king of Morrowind, Almalexia has been alive far longer than the Imperials have been in Morrowind, and so why isn't Almalexia's temple in the center? Because it's her city. Presumably she built this city. Why would she build it like this? And if the king is like a usurper, if the king is like an upstart, then why is the upstart in the middle of the city? You know, it doesn't seem to make sense. It doesn't seem to mesh with what the story is supposed to be. I don't know, I've talked too much, I think, and if you haven't played the game before, or if you've played but you haven't paid much attention to the backstory, then it wouldn't make too much sense to you. But
Gods grant you justice, Sarah.
okay. And here, this arrangement. So this road joins the two entrances. Okay, that makes sense. That's good. So we have
and all shall honor you.
an axis, and then another axis, a cross axis. So this should be an important building. The Craftsman's Hall. Is the Craftsman's Hall the most important building in this district? Now that doesn't line up. Look at that. That door and that building isn't centered. Well, that is centered. You know, that's right in the middle. This one's off to the side a bit. Why is that? Why is that? Why is this person's house on here? Is this person more important than that person and then that person? You know, who lives here? That's vacant. You know, why is the tavern not in the middle? Or why is the museum not in the middle? Being in the middle presumably means they're more important and all that, so, you know, I don't know. It doesn't say any of that. And it's not part of the game. Whereas, you know, in Sadris Mora, the wizard's tower is in the middle, and the wizard is clearly the most powerful person in that town, or you know, everything that makes sense in all the other towns in the game. It doesn't make as much sense here in Mournhold. Alright, I've talked enough. I've talked enough about that, so I think I can end this video here. I mean, there's not much more to say, I don't think. I mean, it looks nice, right? It looks nice, but why is there a huge fountain and statue here? Like, the temple, Almalexia's temple is on the other side. The palace is in the middle. then why wouldn't this be in the middle? And then the palace on one side, and then Almalexia's temple on the other. That would make more sense. Because Almalexia defeating Mehrunes Dagon, basically the story goes, Mehrunes Dagon destroyed the old Mournhold, but Almalexia came back and, along with Vivek, killed, was it with Vivek or Salthus? Anyway, she came back, kicked him back to oblivion, and then she rebuilt the city. So, if this is the monument that celebrates the building of the city, why would that not be in the middle? And then if the palace was on one side, and then her temple was on the other, then you set up this, conflict between the two sides, fighting over the city, which is the symbol, which is symbolized by that statue. See, that would make more sense, I would think. If the city is in the middle, and then there's these two powers struggling to control the future of the city. That I don't know. I don't know if you agree, or I don't know. That seems like it would make more sense to me. Anyway, okay, I'll end the video here. That's Mournhold.